First, dress appropriately. This might not always mean wearing a business suit. It depends on the area your shop is in, the type of clientele you get, the type of clientele you wish to get, and the preferences of your employer. Remember, the customer must feel comfortable.
This one here?
Second.
The second one down? My pleasure. Boy, look at that beauty.
You probably mean well, but if you're dressed inappropriately or have poor personal hygiene, you may be turning your customers off. You may laugh at that notion. Not me, you say.
Well, personal appearance and personal hygienity is very important anywhere you go. You have to have a little respect for the salesman who you buy from. You respect his knowledge and respect him as a person.
You don't necessarily have to look like a fashion model. Just be neat and clean and well-groomed. First impressions count a great deal. Remember the old saying, clothes maketh the man. You'll find customers are much more willing to get close to you. And when they feel physically comfortable with you, that's the first step toward gaining their confidence. No one will do business with you if you don't have their confidence. But when they do trust you, you're a long way towards completing a successful loan or sale transaction.
I believe you should dress nice, even in a pawn shop. It does get very dirty and you handle a lot of dirty things, but there's no reason not to look nice. There's just no reason.
The dress codes have radically changed around here over the last 15 years. I myself swore that I would never walk around in a suit and tie and sport coat. I just didn't think it was conducive to what we did, especially when I worked the floor. When we started to grow and I wanted to change the pawn shop image, not only did I want it to have a positive image, I wanted it to have a professional image. I want my employees to look professional because I believe if you look professional, most likely you will act professional.
I used to dress very much like I was in the finance business, and we always had shirts and ties and one thing and another, but today I don't really criticize my people if they're neat and clean. We're dealing with the public and they come in all kinds of dress. And I'm not going to get somebody that's going to wait on them that looks so completely different than they are that they can't really feel comfortable.
So here in Hawaii it's real casual. It depends on the store they're working in. I'll let them wear tank tops in some of the stores. In this store, I'd like them to be dressed.
We don't have a specific code other than a neat appearance.
It's a little bit difficult in our job because they may be pulling merchandise in the morning but out on the sales floor in the afternoon. Now what do you do? So their clothes have to be functional, but I think we need to look more professional. Once again, it projects that customer confidence.
In the pawn business, I think you need to look good, but I think you need to dress comfortable. You're going to be here all day. You're going to be dealing with people, and it's not a suit and tie type of business. Dress comfortable. If you feel good, I think you're going to work better.
If you want to look sloppy, your customers will perceive you as sloppy. If you want to put on a tie and look like a banker, they will perceive you as a banker. If you want to put on some overalls and look like an individual who works on cars, that is what your customers will perceive you as. And we feel like dress coding is very important, and we emphasize that very much so. And to the point that employees will either dress up or dress out.
Your employer will give you guidelines for appropriate dress. You should always respect them. That's professional. Naturally, however you dress, you should be clean and well-groomed. I can promise you, there isn't a customer anywhere who wants to be faced with an employee who is unkempt or dirty. Next, we come to something very important. What is the salesperson doing wrong in this scene? His dress is okay. His manner is respectable. So what could it be? This is a good-looking, well-dressed, courteous salesman who unfortunately is not wearing a very important accessory. A smile. You should always wear a smile.
Hello, it's nice to see you. How are you doing today?
That's much better, isn't it? A customer is just a person, and nothing puts a person at ease like a smile. A smile is your calling card. It's the first thing the customer will notice about you and the thing they will remember the longest. Sometimes you don't feel like smiling. You may have your problems that are weighing you down. Doesn't matter. You won't solve your problems by scaring away customers with a sour face. So smile, smile. It's contagious. The young lady smiling so beautifully here is Teresa. She works for one of the oldest pawn shops in the country, the San Francisco Provident Loan. Let's relax now as we take another educational field trip to see how they run things in San Francisco. When we come back, we'll talk some more about customer treatment.
My dad bought our company, San Francisco Provident Loan Association, in 1965. And the person that he bought it from was my wife's grandfather.
The San Francisco Provident opened back in 1912 under the name Remedial Loan. It was modeled on the New York Provident Loan, which we mentioned earlier. At the time it opened, a lot of fuss was being made about loan sharks. This was to be a respectable institution run by philanthropic men who would provide credit to needy people and donate profits to the community. Herbert Hoover was on the original board of directors. It was bought out in 1965 by Joey Chait's father, and today Joey runs it in much the same spirit as it was started, as an institution, a bank for all citizens.
Right after the quake, this whole block was closed.
San Francisco is Joey's town. He's well-liked, youthful, and vital. He is completely at home strolling the streets of downtown. When we asked him about earthquakes, he just laughed. His building is solid granite, and it could withstand just about anything. The pawn shop is right downtown, opposite the old historic Mint building. It looks like a bank. It gives you confidence just to walk into the place.
We don't really consider ours to be your average pawn shop. We call ours a loan company. It's a collateral loan association. You come in, you put up collateral, and we make you a loan. And all we handle is jewelry. You know, jewelry, gold coins, sterling silver. Oh, you can borrow $500 on everything here, including this.
Okay, would you answer a question, though? That's
Sure.
When I see the stock market with 1 ounce of gold going for $4.16.
That's pure gold.
That's just pure gold?
Pure gold as it is, right.
Now.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what decreases?
This is all 10, 14 karat gold.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
All right, you've got yourself a deal.
All right. When's the last time you made a loan?
I have never made a loan in my life.
We don't handle any cameras, any golf clubs, tennis rackets, power tools. None of the items that people usually think of when they think of a pawn shop. Our loans are held basically for a period of 1 year. California law requires that the loans be held for 4 months and 10 days. We give you a loan right now for a period of 6 months. At the end of that 6-month period, if you haven't redeemed your loan or paid the interest on your loan, we, at that point, send you the first notice. We tell you that your loan is going to be forfeited if you don't either pay the interest or take it out. We want you to come in and do something. Now, 90% of the people will react to that first notice. Of the 10% of the people that don't react to that first notice, we send out a second notice 2 months later. 4 to 8% of that 10% will react to that notice and come in and either pay the interest or take it out. Our forfeiture rate here is very low. It's 4 to 6% average. I mean, there's enough merchandise out there available to purchase without taking the customer's merchandise. And the customers know this and appreciate it.
One of the benefits of being downtown in such a cosmopolitan city is you attract all kinds of patrons, from bankers and merchants to street people and gypsies.
Let's go down there. You got $700. You'll always have a group of people that, shall we say, don't have credit or aren't creditworthy enough to walk into a bank and to make themselves a loan for $500 or $5,000. Marks? We tend to fill that void for people who can walk in with hard goods, put the goods on the table, and we make them a loan. We have bankers literally take people by the hand, bring them down here. The bankers are not able to make them loans. This place looks like a bank. We have people who walk in here that want to open savings accounts with us. They want to open checking accounts with us. They don't believe that this is not a bank until they see the 2 cases of jewelry at the other end of the company.
Joey and the Provident are living proof that if you treat your customers well, your business will grow and last forever. There's no substitute for good customer treatment. There never has been and never will be. Joey and his pawn shop recently appeared in a movie called Pacific Heights, starring Melanie Griffith. Watch for him at your local theater.
Hi, how are you today? I'd like to show you.
In addition to smiling, there's something else that's very important. This salesman is smiling, but he's doing something else wrong. Can you see what it is?
Diamond chokers and...
That's right. He's not maintaining good eye contact. He's looking all over the place.
I think you look very good.
Compare that to this other salesman. He's smiling also, but the difference is he's looking the customer squarely in the eye. When you do that, a customer instinctively feels that you are speaking the sincere truth. If you were a customer, which one of these 2 employees would you feel more comfortable talking to? The one on the left, who can't seem to look at you, or the one on the right, who looks you in the eye? Obviously, the one on the right. You've learned the importance of eye contact. People like you to look at them when you're talking to them. If you don't, you create the impression that you're not genuinely interested in them, that you have something to hide, that you're ashamed of something. We are generally interested in you. We want you to put customers at ease. It's time now for a quick review of what we've learned on tape 1 before going on to tape 2. We've learned that over 20% of the adult American population doesn't have a bank account or any formal credit relationship. For these people, pawn shops are an important source of credit. They are what is called a secondary credit industry. In other words, the people's bank. We learned that to work in a pawn shop, just like working anywhere else, proper training is the only way to make sure the job gets done right. We learned that you should treat these videos seriously. You should watch them undisturbed and try to absorb as much information as possible. We learned that pawnbroking can be traced all the way back to biblical days, and that the roots of modern pawning derive from the Medici family of 15th century Italy. We learned that many members of the public still have a negative perception of pawn shops, and this is largely due to biased press coverage and unfair portrayal in books and movies, such as The Pawnbroker, starring Rod Steiger.
Well, you've got yourself a deal.
Great.
We learned that customer treatment is very important. Not only is it good for the pawn shop image, but it is fundamental to doing successful business, both in sales and in loans. The art of deal-making is very much the art of treating people right. We learned to try and see the customer's point of view. Don't be unkempt or uncivil. Don't keep the customer waiting. Don't smoke or drink behind the counter. Don't ignore the customer. And if you can't do business, always explain why. We learned that personal appearance is very important. If you look too shabby, it can be a real turnoff to your customers. But if you are well-groomed and neat, you gain your customers' confidence, and it is easier to do business. We also learned that it is very important to smile. No customer likes talking to a salesman with a long face. And we learned the importance of looking your customer squarely in the eye when you deal with them. This is the end of the first tape. Now is a good time to talk about what you've seen.